Hello friends, welcome to Dnyanadeep Academy's UPSC Answer Writing Program. Today we are going to discuss a bit offbeat question. Most of the questions that we discuss can be answered from what you read in your regular sources. But today's question is a bit different. I'll tell you the reason why it is different. First, let's go to the question. The question is, define the concept of carrying capacity of an ecosystem as relevant to an environment. Explain how understanding this concept is vital while planning for sustainable development of a region. Now, I said this question is different, and it is different for a reason that here you are supposed to apply the knowledge that you have, because these are two different concepts. What is carrying capacity and what is sustainable development? Now, just knowing these two concepts is not going to help you write this answer. What is important here is how you apply this concept of carrying capacity in sustainable development of a region. So like I said, books will not help you write this answer. It is how you think, how you have analyzed these concepts, and how you nicely you understand and how you can correlate these concepts. Okay, so as usual, let's first understand what's the focus and what is the locus in the question. Now here, the focus is concept of carrying capacity. The most important, we need to understand what is carrying capacity. Okay. Then the second focus is how this is vital while planning for a sustainable development of a region. Remember, it is a region. It is not about India. It is not about any specific region. So sustainable development. So your answer also has to be degeneralized. Okay. It cannot be specific to one region. Okay. Try to give more and more different examples to make your point. What is the locus? Carrying capacity as relevant to an environment, because carrying capacity as a concept can be used in many other different ways, for urban planning also, for a city also. But here we are trying to explain it in relevant to environment. Okay, so two focuses and one locus in the question, and let's see how you can apply the concept of carrying capacity to sustainable development. Okay, now in the introduction part, because carrying capacity was one of our focuses, we should first define what is carrying capacity. Okay, and that too in terms of environment or an ecosystem. So what is carrying capacity? It is the maximum number of species that an environment or an ecosystem can sustain or support without any degradation in its own functions. Okay, maximum population of species that can be supported by an environment or an ecology without its own degradation. That is carrying capacity. Now, briefly explain with current examples how unsustainable development hampers carrying capacity. Okay, so you can give any example that you read in current affairs of how maybe it can be also a case study also, how unsustainable development will affect the carrying capacity. Now, overfishing, how it can impact the carrying capacity of a river. That also can be an example. Now, why carrying capacity matters? Very briefly, right, why it matters. With all the degradation and destruction of ecosystem, forests that we are carrying out, this concept becomes very important, because I'm trying to connect carrying capacity to sustainable development. So how am I doing it? By explaining why carrying capacity is more important today than ever. Because development process has been fastened, and the development that we do has to be sustainable. Okay, so next point is going to be sustainable development. So briefly explain why carrying capacity is important. Why does it matter in today's times? Okay, so this is the first part, how you're going to answer about carrying capacity and how it is important. Then in the body part, you can explain what is sustainable development. Okay, now instead of using your own words about sustainable development, quote the exact definition that was given by Brundtland report in 1987. Okay, this was the first time when sustainable development was defined. So instead of giving your own words, try to use the definition that was given by this report. It is a kind of development which fulfills the needs of the present generation without compromising the ability of the future generations to fulfill their own needs. So this definition was given by Brundtland report. Okay, then also you can tell how carrying capacity can help in sustainable development, or how or why carrying capacity is vital for sustainable development of a region. So what all points you can think of when you're writing this point? Let's see which all points you can expand here. Now the first is urban planning. Like I said, carrying capacity can be also extrapolated on urban planning. So you can give any key study, for example, Mumbai, right? Or even Delhi, any city in India, how development without taking into consideration the carrying capacity of the city can destruct the very structure of the city. So how carrying capacity can help us in sustainably developing urban areas in India is one part where you can explain this. Then demographic and population planning. World population crossing 8 billion is a big challenge. India, the most populous country in the world. So with increase in population, there is going to be degradation of environment. There is going to be pressure on the environment. And so how understanding carrying capacity can help us sustainably maintain this population. Okay. Then economic planning. I always see these examples are very famous: Coca-Cola and Pepsi. So in the when you're industrializing, how should you do it? Because extraction of water, overuse of water, how that unsustainably leads to other environmental problems, you can explain here in economic planning. It's not only about these two companies, but any other sector. So a lot of pollution, how it is going to impact negatively the environment, that you can say. Biodiversity conservation also. If you're thinking of conserving a forest, you should first understand what is the capacity of the forest, how much species, how many living beings, wild varieties can that forest sustain. Okay, so what are the predators? What is the prey base? You need to understand when you're conserving biodiversity. Agriculture management, we know agriculture is also under pressure, and so a lot of unsustainable agriculture practices are being practiced. So to have sustainable agriculture, how carrying capacity is going to help, you can explain here. Resource extraction also, for example, fossil fuels or any other resource that we extract. We are rampantly extracting these resources without thinking of the future. So this use of resources is not sustainable. So understanding the carrying capacity of a region, we can sustainably extract resources without impacting the environment there. So these are all the points where you can explain how carrying capacity is vital for sustainable development. Okay. Now, when you're concluding this question, how can you conclude? You can emphasize how understanding carrying capacity is important to balance the environment versus development debate. This is debate in every society, every country, whether you should be focusing on environment or development. So no one of these should come at the cost of another. And the solution here is carrying capacity. Okay. And also in the conclusion, you have a chance to show the examiner that you know something different. Okay, for example, what I've done here, you can tell how carrying capacity can help in sustainable development, which was envisaged by the SDG goals. Actually, this is not asked in the question, but I'm trying to show the examiner I know SDG goals also, sustainable development goals. Okay, so this is how you can write the conclusion to this question. So this is all for today. Thank you and have a nice day.